So let's take a look at this. UNESCO addressing conspiracy theories, what teachers need to know. This is about the education agenda. Specifically, they call it Education 2030, which is a part of their Agenda 2030. And this is one of their SDGs, which has to do with the education thing. Now, UNESCO, if you guys don't remember, United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. This is one of the most brutal and evil organizations involved in UNESCO. And if you guys have been watching my End Times New Age series, when we went over all the education aspect of things, we understand that is one of the key elements to bringing in mystery religion. And this ain't good. UNESCO is not a good group. So let's take a look at some of the things that I think are kind of important on this. Again, it might be a little small. I know. I'll read what I want to point out on this. So right off the bat, who's involved with this document? Who's involved? Acknowledgements. This document was developed by the UNESCO section for, and this is always key, guys, global citizenship and peace education based on the social media campaign, #ThinkBeforeSharing, to address conspiracy theories, launched together with the European Commission and the World Jewish Congress and Twitter in August of 2020. Now, global citizenship. That should stand out. They try and, make it fluffy, like, oh, we're all a part of the world, peace, love, and kumbaya and all that type of stuff. Global citizenship, us as prophecy watchers, that should stand out because we understand what they're trying to accomplish. The beast system, one world government, one world religion, one world economy. If it's one world, everybody is a global citizen and they have global citizenship. So that should stand out. This is a part of their move, their push for the one world agenda that the Antichrist, that's what we watch for. And so whenever we see things like global citizenship and whatnot, it is pushing in that direction. And of course, as Christians, we understand we ain't got no global citizenship. Our citizenship is not here. Our citizenship, say that 5 times fast, is in heaven. And so you can have your global citizenship. I'll take my heavenly citizenship at the feet of the true King. That's me. So, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that this is part of the UNESCO global citizenship, part of the European Commission, the Jewish Congress, as well as Twitter, that brought this into effect. All right, let's continue on and take a look at some of this stuff. So they like to tell us, how do conspiracy theories link to other types of false information? They like to give us their descriptions. Remember, these are their own created descriptions. Misinformation is false or misleading content shared without harmful intent, while disinformation is false or misleading content that is spread with an intention to deceive or secure economic or political gain. So one has to do with harmful intent, the other one doesn't. I know some people ask, what's the difference between them? Not really much. That's the honest answer. But one is with harmful intent, the other one isn't. Then hate speech. This is my favorite one because this is just some made-up term so they can apply rules to what people say. That's all it is. And it says any kind of communication in speech, writing, or behavior that attacks or uses prejudicatory or discriminatory language with reference to a person or group on the bias of who they are. The thing is, there's just no such thing as hate speech. I know there's some people, it's like, well, you shouldn't say certain things about people. Well, yeah, I agree with that. But this hate speech thing is just a lie. It's a dupe. It was created for them to continue this narrative in order to censor and control. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Then we got fake news, the wonderful coined term. Fake news is defined by a subset of disinformation that is false or misleading information presented as news. So basically, it's just any information presented as actual news. I always find it funny that they put "Is flat Earth" and Michelle Obama actually a lizard on there. I just think that's hilarious. I don't know how many of you have seen the meme that goes around. I probably should have brought it up just for fun, where it shows like a high class party. They're wearing like top hats and they have fancy drinks and whatnot, and it's a bunch of lizards and they're all laughing. It's funny, but I just find it fascinating. Now, you guys know me. You guys know I like to dig. I like to dig, but I like to go down rabbit holes. I like to find conspiracies. I look into most conspiracy theories because I want to see if there's anything to them or not, and not just write them off completely for absolutely no point. Because conspiracies, most of them that are deemed conspiracy that a lot of people don't want to touch, there's truth to it, but there is a lot of lies and stuff like that. Now, they talk about lizard person. No, there's no lizard things, but there definitely is demonic possession. And so there are, while the lizard thing isn't true, there's something that can branch into something that's true. And that is biblical, which is demonic possession. And there's a lot of that. And specifically right now, when we see the darkness that's overtaking the earth, we understand that demons are coming into this earth a tenfold. They're coming in at tenfold right now compared to what it was before. Things are increasing because we understand Satan, it's getting closer to Satan's 15 minutes of fame. And so he's setting up his armies, he's setting up his generals, and there's going to be more possessions happening. Specifically, we see what's going on with all the transgender and everything like that. Not all of them, but there's a lot that, yeah, I mean, I've shown some videos in the past where you can see it in their eyes. You can see it with how they're acting, that there's something else in there. And so, yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to come about. And yes, I know there's been some stuff going on lately in the prophecy realm of we need to just stop with all the conspiracy stuff and just go off of factual information. But the problem is factual information, is it really factual? A lot of the conspiracy stuff is true. I mean, I just went over some of it with the End Times New Age series when I went digging to find out how Rockefellers and the Carnegie Endowment were part of the creation, the orchestration of World War I, and how that played into getting Woodrow Wilson selected, not elected, selected in order to bring about the League of Nations. Now, a lot of people would completely write that off, not even look into it, because there's nothing factual that you will find on like Encyclopedia Britannica or anything like that. And they would just write it off as a conspiracy theory, when in actuality, that is real history. That is real fact that took place in order to continue the biblical end times that we see today. Because if that didn't take place, League of Nations wouldn't have happened, the UN wouldn't have happened, and we wouldn't even be here. But because it did take place, it happened. So they would deem that as a conspiracy theory, but in actuality, that's part of history and why we're at the point that we're at now. It's kind of fascinating, right? So that doesn't mean when you look at conspiracy theories that you believe everything that comes that way, but I think we should do due diligence and at least take a look at them, whether they're true or not. Just accept lizard people. Don't look at lizard people. Seriously. Let's keep going with this. Okay. Why are conspiracy theories so popular? I would love to hear their explanation of this. Conspiracy theories have existed for centuries. At times, they were widely accepted patterns of thinking, which lost credibility, did they? With the rise of social sciences in the 20th century. In recent years, they have gained increasing visibility online and renewed popularity as counter-narratives. Which narrative are we countering? Yours? The one that you created? To official accounts and positions by governments and experts. Again, who deems them as an expert? That's always my thing. Who qualifies you as an expert? Because you went to school? I always love the quote from what's his face? Robert Louis. Was it Robert Louis Stevenson? I think it was him. Said, "I never let schooling interfere with my education." Just something to think about. They have favored the emergence of populist movements and developed into vehicles for violent extremist propaganda and hate speech. Here's the thing, though, is these conspiracy theories hasn't formed into any violent extremism. It's actually the narratives that they've been putting forth that has caused the violent extremism. You notice how they like to kind of flip things around and put blame on people like that? It's kind of interesting. It's their narratives that cause the violence, not the conspiracy theories. It's actually interesting. Most of the people who dig into conspiracy theories are actually pretty nonviolent. They're pretty gentle, at least from what I've seen. I'm not saying all of them, Alex Jones, but I'm just saying a lot of them are. It's kind of interesting. All right, let's take a look at this other box here. It says conspiracy theories are a global phenomenon. The 2020 YouGov Cambridge Globalism Project analyzed the belief in common conspiracy theories in 21 countries. It revealed the conspiracy theories linked to climate change denial, the 2020 event, and secret world control were popular in all countries, with sometimes overwhelming results. 78% of survey participants in Nigeria, 59% in Mexico, 56% in Greece, 55% in Egypt, and 19% in Japan believed a single secret group of people controlled world events. Okay, first of all, those are the official numbers. Those are the numbers that they give us. Take them with a grain of salt. Whether they go for or against our argument, if they're official, always take it with a grain of salt. But if those numbers are in fact true, I'm not surprised, because we know that there is that Luciferian group, the shadow government that sits above, who is pulling the strings on all these things. That is a reality, and it's fascinating if those numbers are true, that many people believe in that. So that's kind of fascinating, kind of interesting to take a look at that. All right, a couple more, and then we'll get into what's going on here. So how conspiracy theories do damage. Most conspiracy theories are not mere oddities or amusing outlying opinions. They foster and reinforce harmful thinking patterns and exclusive worldviews that can damage societies in many ways. No, it doesn't damage society. It damages the narrative that you want to conform society to your own ways. That's really what that means. Now, again, they go on and say it fuels violence. Conspiracy theories polarize society and may fuel violent extremism. Again, that's a lie. It's their narratives that cause that. Remember the fiery but mostly peaceful protests that happened during the BLM stuff? That's not a conspiracy theory that started that. No, that's their own narrative, their own teaching through education. Shocking that did that. Reduce trust in public institutions. I'm pretty sure you're doing that on your own. It says conspiracy theories erode trust in public institutions, which can lead to political apathy and polarization. Really? Research in the United States has shown that people who were opposed to conspiracy theories linked to manipulation of federal elections experienced higher anxiety and expressed less support for democratic institutions and norms. Okay, again, I've got it. Every time I see that word, I've got to bring this up just democracy, that thing, it's a lie. It doesn't actually exist. Democracy is an illusion created to give people the illusion that they have some type of choice in something. Democracy is a created word. It doesn't actually exist. Our country was founded as a constitutional republic. We're not going to get into the history of all that stuff, but that's what it was founded as. That's what it was written as, according to the documents that we have, according to that time. Democracy is just something made up in order to continue on the illusion. That's why you continue to see politicians and all these people throw that word around so much. When they continue to throw it out there like that, it's just a way to continue to feed your mind, to make you believe, hey, we're giving you choice. We're giving you wait, you're giving us choice. You're giving us choice? That right there should tell you everything you need to know about that. But again, they go on to say, it makes people have anxiety because things are rigged. Again, I just went over how Woodrow Wilson was selected and all that stuff. But again, that's a conspiracy theory. Okay. And the last thing on here, it says, reduce trust in science. Conspiracy theories erode trust in scientific institutions, scientists, and scientific data. Now, this one's fascinating because they like to say, well, you just need to go with the science. Well, again, who's the one creating this science? Who's the one that owns the science? They've actually told us this. Let's take a look.
You know, we partnered with Google, for example. If you Google climate change, you will, at the top of your search, you will get all kinds of UN resources. We started this partnership when we were shocked to see that when we Googled climate change, we were getting incredibly distorted information right at the top. So we're becoming much more proactive. You know, we own the science, and we think that the world, you know, should know it, and the platforms themselves also do. But again, it's a huge challenge that I think all sectors of society need to be very active in.
Did you catch that? She said, we own the science. Now, they describe science as objective theory to become fact type of deal. It's my own version of what they describe it as. But it's objective theory that they're trying to prove is factual information. But the thing is when somebody owns it, it's not objective at that point. It's now subjective. They can alter it, they can change it, they can move it in any direction that they want to. And so that's what we've seen time and time again, and things that we can't go over on this platform. But they admit it, they own the science. And so it's not the conspiracy theories that are waning any type of trust in science or scientists or scientific research. No, it's the fact of you're just making it up on the fly as you go in order to manipulate and control as things go about. And so they tell us up front. So again, you know, this document that they do is just continue full. It's just full of lies. It just continues to be full of lies. And okay, let's see here. We got just a couple more. Patterns of conspiracy narratives. Conspiracy theorists provide an array of evidence, in quotations, that they claim supports their theory. They join the dots between unconnected events and people, suggesting falsely that nothing happens by accident. I don't believe in coincidence. They evoke a secret plot that questions reality and implies that nothing is as it seems, because it's not. People who believe in conspiracy theories divide the world into good and bad, which usually results in scapegoating people in groups. So they like to go about, they're trying to, or is it, they join dots between unconnected events and people. Okay. Again, for those of you who have been with me for a while, you know my favorite thing is to connect dots. I love to connect dots. And there's nothing more disappointing than when I'm going down a rabbit hole and I'm connecting these things together, and then I get to a point where just one dot will not connect with the other. It's disappointing because it's like I thought I had something, but I didn't. And so I must go all the way back out and see where that goes. I'm not going to sit there and try and connect dots that aren't there, that don't exist. That is never good, because then you're just lying to yourself, and everything after that just becomes a lie and false as well. I've been in that position countless times. Now, am I saying other people do the same thing? No, there's other people that will try and make something out of nothing. They will. But for those who are worth their salt, that do like to delve into this stuff, you know, sometimes you just got to realize that you're going to hit a bunch of dead ends, or you're going to hit a rock or something like that, and you just got to be able to move back. So again, they're trying to generalize. They're trying to put everybody in the realm of, well, you can't connect dots because so-and-so worked with so-and-so who's connected to so-and-so who ended up doing something with that first so-and-so. You know, that those are actual connected dots, but to them, that doesn't mean anything. It's kind of fancy how that works. I bet they're applying that same science that they own to Epstein's book, right? That we still haven't seen. Sorry. Okay, let's keep going. Just two more. It says good practice. Now, this one's interesting because we're going to talk about this in just a minute. So this is a good one to pay attention to. UNESCO's Media and Information Literacy Framework enhances learners' competencies to examine and compare information from various sources to evaluate its reliability, validity, accuracy, authority, timeliness, and bias. It helps learners to recognize prejudice, deception, or manipulation. Thinking critically and being informed about conspiracy theories is keys to challenging them. Thinking critically actually is more in line with conspiracy theories themselves, not saying what you're saying. Just something to think about. The hashtag Think Before Sharing campaign empowers social media users to stop the spread of conspiracy theories by learning how to identify, debunk, react to, and report on them. This campaign by the UNESCO and the European Commission is jointly implemented with Twitter and the World Jewish Congress. Okay, so media and information literacy framework. Again, this was a couple years ago that they put this out. And so we were talking about this. Again, I can't remember exactly when, but we were talking about this because this was something that they were planning on implementing. And there's been a couple states, California and New York, that have now just implemented this media literacy thing itself. And so we'll get to that in just a second. Last page on this thing. Addressing conspiracy theories, what teachers need to know. This document is a first introduction for educators working in and outside of formal schooling on how to identify, prevent, and address conspiracy theories in education settings. So this document right here is about educating teachers to train children to not think critically, to not think for themselves, to not go and look things up for themselves, to not research things. No, this is to train children to just go along with what they're being told by governments, by experts, and by scientists. That's what this is about. So this is about training the teachers to train the children. And again, we've been talking about all this stuff for a long time, and they even have a wonderful little campaign video that goes along with it. Where is it? Here it is.
Conspiracy theories are not true. They come in coded forms and can be difficult to detect, yet they seem to be present everywhere, on social media, in the news, in conversations with family and friends. The best defense against conspiracy theories is knowledge. Teachers can help learners to be aware of conspiracy theories, their appeal and rhetoric, before they fall for them. Teachers can also help learners to acquire the skills to spot and debunk them. This task is not easy. Conspiracy theories are complex. They play with the human psyche and can shift entire worldviews. To address and counter them, teachers need to know what they are, how they cause harm, and how to discuss them with learners without amplifying them. With this knowledge, teachers can address the fears that may lead to believing in conspiracy theories, sensitize for prejudice and biases that fuel conspiracy thinking and hate speech, warn about their rhetoric and techniques, dismantle the flawed logic behind them, and engage with learners and colleagues who are misled without pushing them further away. You can prevent the spread of conspiracy theories and the harm they cause.
Yeah, so I find it interesting. They talk about hate speech as part of the conspiracy theory thing. Why is it hate speech when you call out, things like BLM and the transgender is unnatural and marriage is between man and woman and there's only two genders and anything like that? Why is that considered hate speech? But when you say anybody says anything about Christians, it's not. Or if as Christians we just read something from the Bible, it's hate speech. But yet when you read something or you see the chants of Muslims shouting for the deaths of Jews and whatnot, that's not hate speech. Again, when it comes to hate speech, just like democracy, it's a made up thing in order to wrangle in and control the speech that they want. And if you're saying something that they don't like, again, if you're just reading something from the Bible, they don't like that, and that's going to be considered hate speech. But yet, I don't know. It's just tolerance for everybody else but Christian. I just think that's interesting. But again, this is their campaign to train children to not be able to think for themselves. They want good little robots. They want good little comrades.